Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream team over here on the B stream. We have seen some interesting stuff, Snods, as Gambit have just had an overtime win on SK's map pick. They locked it down, a moment of brilliance from Adren towards the end, and that was it. They secured themselves a deal, netted a first-class ticket all the way to Train.
Yeah, crazy scenarios there, obviously. Coming into Train, in terms of what we saw from SK, it was rather strange, extremely uncharacteristic. A team that is so prestigious, so, good at closing out these matchups with the experience they have, and to see them struggle when they have a 14-4 lead versus Gambit as well, a team that was struggling on Inferno. I thought, okay, this is the same scenario we saw in Inferno. Gambit win the second half pistol, they come back into this matchup, but eventually, SK are going to wake up from this and eventually basically steal the limelight and steal the Cinderella story away from Gambit.
Well, this is the thing, right? It just slowly got closer and closer. SK were there with 14 rounds, looking like this giant that was never going to be toppled. And all of a sudden, Gambit start climbing the beanstalk. They get themselves higher and higher up. Till all of a sudden, it was an equal scoreline. And then before you knew it, we were in overtime, and Gambit had found victory.
Well, I believe we are ready for the pistol here, Jack. Gambit winning the 9th round. Want to start on the CT side, the favoured side, as well as we go into this one. The loser of this map goes home, remember. And for SK, coming into Katowice, the quarter-final exit versus Liquid from the last week's Star Series, the 2 out of 4 Grand Slam victories they have under their belt as well. They need to finish this one off in style.
That is very, very true. The double face, early aggression being shown from Gambit as well as they get contact and they push straight in. Seized and Dosia, they want to kick this one off with a bang.
5 versus 3 then. As they make their way back towards Team A, and you're going to have Bolts lurking towards Ali. Fergus will head towards Sandwich. Seized and Mo chime in, one apiece. Seized pushes towards the B halls, comes in from behind, and Mo executes Bolts. 1-0 as Gambit begin the chain, and now maybe the catalyst as well for this upset to come to fruition.
It's a good way to start it as well. The best potential way. Obviously, you're on that CT side, you get the initial pistol round, you can nurture and grow your economy because it can be very fragile. So they can actually burst their way through now and try and develop into this round, but let's have a look how this buy will actually go down for them.
Bomb obviously not being planted in the last round for SK. So they will be going for the full 5-player force, which means Fallen will have no AWP coming to the first buy round. On a map like Train as well, a map where the AWP is so prevalent, especially in the defaults that SK like to run. So all 5 players going to go for the investment here. Oh, Taco with the entry frag onto Doja towards the lower B ramp, which means an instant reaction coming out from Gambit as ceases to rotate in towards Connector.
Yeah, Taco obviously always trying to cause trouble. There is a response though, but Hobbit only able to find 1 frag with his MP9 as he is pushed from Ivy. They still have the advantage in terms of the arsenal, but as the manpower fight goes, they're actually neck and neck. 3 apiece on either side. 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock towards the B site. Taco, he's perked up. He's got himself a bird's eye view to try and lay the land and work out where exactly everyone is.
Aggression towards Ali here from Adren. They're going to be understanding exactly where SK are funneling in towards, or do they? Bolts going in towards Whitehorse with the bomb. Cold Zero going to be rejoining the ranks with Taco as well. Taco gets some contact towards Heaven. Eventually will be falling back. He had his early moment, his early entry frag towards below onto Dosia. But already Seas chimes in.
And they've got the weapons in their prime locations as well. The M4 on the scout towards the B site, so obviously Mo was able to find that easy frag. The M4 when you push out ramp, it's just not logistically going to work out for them. They do go down. So SK, they tried to keep Gambit on their toes at least. Obviously being able to force out 2 rebuys, but it is still going to be the round for Gambit.
Yeah, got a bit scary there. Obviously, Taco finding the first frag onto Dosia, opens up that B-bomb site. Seas took a while to rotate in towards the B-bomb site, but eventually when he did, SK Gaming took a bit of a pause or a halt on their mission towards that B-bomb site. They reformulated, they had the 1-player advantage, they grouped up towards the B site, but unfortunately it was far too late as Gambit were ready for that one with the push towards Ali from Adren. And now obviously they lose the force buy, and now onto the eco. They're all going to be at the end of these MP9s and SMGs and around for Gambit where they can stack up the cash.
The mortar strikes hit them as well, Snods. They're all soft and supple, ready to be crunched down upon by the aggressive bite from Gambit as they charge in. Dosia is just demolishing them one by one. They all hit the DECK. It's just for remaining towards the A site, and Mo will take him down with a scout.
Well, for Gambit, 5 players staying alive into the last round, so in terms of their economy going forward, they're going to be having at least, wow, really good money actually, surprisingly. $5,000 onto, well, $5,000 plus for 4 players. Adren has $2,800, so apart from that, everyone else has such an abundance of cash to work with. And now that Gambit's money is established, Jack, even if SK Gaming win this round, Gambit can instantly go for the rebuy and force back into the full buy. And obviously then it sets up the reset narrative and things can get dicey here for Brazilians. But Taco trying to see if he can replicate the success he found with the force by Deagle at getting the entry frag here and opening up the round for SK.
First, straight in and straight through as he finds those frags. Sees the Mo have to fire back. Taco as well, lying in wait as he's able to claim the header seized, but he couldn't quite get the flick to Hobbit. So it falls back into a 2v2 here. Both MP9s in the hands of the Gambit boys, though. Meanwhile, on the side of SK, they've got these astonishing weapons, the AKs that can just slay from miles away. Fallen in the back, rips a new one in towards Hobbit, and it just comes down to Dosia. He's got to try and handle 2 at once here as he waits for the push to come towards him. Still a minute on the clock. The bomb is recoverable as well, as Dosia just holds towards close connector.
One of the reasons, Jack, their money is so strong is because they didn't swap out the SMGs into the first buy round. They kept on to the MP9s and the weak weaponry. And now they're faced with this awkward scenario. 1 versus 2, 50 seconds left to work with as well, so SK can play the patient game. The bombers drop towards Electric, obviously. They have to be wary. Is Dosia coming in towards Ali? Is Dosia coming in towards Team A? And as I believe that's where they expect. Slowly but surely they're going to be clearing out every single angle, leaving no stone left unturned. As the first contact may be happening rather shortly, Jack. If Fallen goes down, Cold Zero's on 12 HP.
Fallen pushes his way through. The headshot is found as well. Dosia decimates him now with the MP9. As you said, Cold is so low. 12 HP is all he has, Snods, and there's not really time to try and have any shenanigans or potential plays towards B. He has to just go for the commit on A as time's about to tick down. Dosia, he's got the HE. He could dunk him out of the server if he gets a bit lucky here, but he barely misses. Molotov being lobbed out as well, but the utility isn't aiding him. He's got a second one, though, so he's going to use that as well. Flashbang peek comes through. Cold is ever so slightly blinded, but he had to find the frag. He needed to be poised and ready for it, and instead, Cold had the angle. It just takes one tap with the AK, and SK grabbed that round, but it was down to the wire.
3-1. Only one player surviving there for SK. Obviously, Cold into the 1 versus 1. Wins it, plays the smart off angle. Dosia goes for the wide face and walks straight into the crosshair of Cold Zero. 3-1 now, but as I mentioned before, the money was in such a good position for Gambit, so they can't afford to go for the buy. And it is going to be the double AWP set up onto Train. 2 rifles as well to round off the rest of the buy for Gambit, and as an additional UMP as well, so the economy is decent. But Mo instantly taken out of the equation to that one. Adren going to be picking up the AWP from the lifeless corpse of Mo. The one-tap headshot clinical frag found by Furs. They all group up now towards this B bomb site, and it's all down to Dosia. The anchor towards B about to be tested to his very limits.
Yeah, he's going to have to deny this and show them what he's capable of towards B. Taco tiptoe his way through. They get contact, but no real damage being done. But you can see the call already been made early. Gambit trying to rotate through, get the cavalry on the scene so they can try and cause a stir here. Taco up close and personal with the UMP. Wants to hit everyone with the uppercut as soon as they peek round. Adren is there with the AWP, but it's still going to be so restricted for him. He decides to just dive in. Get linked up with his teammates, finds the frag as well. Taco has been removed, so they start to make it more manageable. Back into a 4v4. You've got a backstab from Seized as well.
And that backstab is so crucial. Cold Zero holding the flank behind, run out towards Heaven, so Gambit, or should I say Seized when he comes in, has to be wary of that. The AWP shot misses as well. Fur, close up and personal, finds the frag onto Dosia. Fallen chimes in, Cold Zero from behind. Seized, the flank is futile. And now last alive as Adren, 1 versus 4, trying to salvage the AWP, connects the no-scope, but unfortunately cannot connect the dots and make it out of that site alive. 3-2 as SK going to be forcing a Nico out for Gambit.
Yeah, no scope, but no chance for him in the round as Gambit will go through. SK one away now from equalising the scoreline, and Gambit's economy is absolutely busted.
Wow. They have lost 2 rounds in a row here, Jack, so the round loss bonus is going to be $2,400 into the next round. Dosia, you can see, only buys the P250. The reason being is he has $3,000. Doesn't buy below that. He can afford $5,400 into the next round, so an AWP Kevlar can be dropped over to Mo, and we know how important that AWP is on Train.
Here they go as well. This was the play they wanted to try and run into the eco. They had one flashbang, which was allowed them to go for the double page towards Ivy, push out, hope to get something, but SK playing so far behind and just using the AWP of Fallen to defend the angle. That range advantage is just crazy compared to what the pistols can achieve. So SK playing it very smart, slow and steady wins the race into this one. Fur as well, gonna find Dosia, composes himself and then gets the headshot. Site control's been taken. Hobbit's the only one that wants to try and cause a bit of a ruckus. Short-lived, goes back down, obviously just leaving Adren as the last man left standing. A free bomb plant as well for SK as Adren just decides to run into the unknown and get executed by Cold Zero. Scoreline equalised now and 3-3 apiece.
Wow. Third buy round here of this final map of this matchup. 3-3 as we go all squared up. Into round number 7 it will be the AWP from Mo, as I said before, Dosia. Actually, no. Dosia hasn't dropped over the AWP, Jack. No Kevlar for Mo. Going to be wielding the glass cannon AWP. Has a smoke decoy as well to work with. No diffuse key here for the CT side, and that could be the salient point into this round here in case SK get the bomb planted, as they may do with such a fast, high-octane style of CS into this round.
If we get into a post plant with no kit, it's going to be awful for Gambit on the retake. Really gambling there as they just get blown to bits as well. Brilliant from Bolts as he shows just what he can do with his mighty M4 skills. Continues it as well. He's had a hat-trick into the round. He's still hungry for some more. Dosia will be able to deal some little bit deadly towards Fur, though.
Yeah. SK going to be repelled from that B-bomb site, make their way down the ladder on Pop Dog, and rejoin the star player of this current round here, Jack. Bolts towards outside, is met by his comrades. SK going to be planting towards default. 4 versus 2, and if you're Gambit right now, you've now lost 3 in a row. Going to be potentially 4. Try and save this round. Try and save as best as you can, because Dosia can drop over an M4. Mo's money as well is going to be fairly weak, so if they want to go for a buy into the next round, they could have 2 M4s and up as well for Mo, but the rest of the players going to be on to weak buy. This is getting quite awkward for Gambit, as the money is all in favour of SK, as other rounds.
That's true. It's going to be dwindling, obviously, leave them to make some snap decisions, and no matter what they do, they're always going to be at a disadvantage. They do actually find a frag here, though, so Bolt's going to go down just like that as the peek comes through from Mo, trying to stay alive, but he misses the flick up close and personal. It's just a matter of time before he hits the deck as they flood towards him. They peek together. That could be another AWP, but obviously on that T side, you don't want to overextend your caliber, really. No reason to have the secondary AWP. It's not going to help you out. If anything, it would just hinder you. So you stick with one as a pause comes through as well for Gambit.
Yeah, good pause to see as well. You can see the money isn't really looking too established. $3,000-ish across the board for all players aggregately, as it will be the first time out here from Gambit. Round number 8, 3-4. Only 1 round behind SK currently, but obviously their rounds are, you know, prompted up by the fact that they actually found victory in the first pistol round. They won versus the 4 Spy, the Eco. So far into these buy rounds, Jack, SK are 4 for 4. As in terms of the consistency going forward into the rest of this half, they may be continuing that form. And for Gambit, they're going to be going for the save. They are going to be onto the $3,400 round loss bonus heading into round number 9. So they can save this one, have a very good buy into round number 9. The issue is then, Jack, you give away a 5-3 scoreline, you're in a 2-round deficit. And SK, if they win 1 or 2 more rounds, they're going to be very happy, especially after losing the pistol, if they finish as half 7 or 9.
Let's see what Gambit do, though. No flashbang there, so they can't just try and go for the group play. Instead, it will just be a stack. 4 of them towards the A site. Dosia the only one that's going to be going for contact towards B as he peeks round. Does have a deagle. Normally can be quite cheeky with a weapon. Let's see if he can land any juicy frags. Through the blindness, wasn't able to do anything. Obviously can't stunt the push, which means the full speed aggression can be coming through now as they swarm their way out. Trickle down towards B. Hobbit with a deagle, though. We'll give you a quick 101 on how to use the weapon until the damage comes back through in the form of Fur with the AK.
3 versus 2. This was getting rather interesting, but Fur, another frag onto the final player towards B. Fallen catches the rotate from C, but still actually loses out that duel. Goes for the audacious no-scope. Doesn't quite connect it this time. 1 versus 2. Seized, you've got an AWP. Kevlar, you may as well be saving this one to the next round.
Yeah, there is no point in throwing that into the wind for no reason. Obviously, actually just going to hold to see if they do go for exit frags. If they exit together back through and go on the hunt, he can punish them. But they play it smart. They'll leave him alone to do his thing in showers, and they'll exit towards the A site.
5-3 then. 5-round hot streak for SK so far into the buy rounds of Train. And in terms of these buy rounds as well, Jack, what do you really put them down onto? Think about how these ones have gone.
Oh no, they actually hunt out. Bolts goes down like that, just like a strike of lightning. He's been hit, and he's gone. So it's only Fur that actually gets through the round. At least the economy on the T side was pretty healthy.
Yeah, right. So back to the point, okay? SK, the aggression has been so effective towards outside. First Byron, we saw Taka go out towards Sandwich, played towards the blue train, finds the entries. I think he found 2 frags there. Obviously then you force the ecos or the quasi-buys from Gambit. You then get up to that 3rd round. Next buy round to get to 4, you have Bolts have the incredible 3k towards outside with the clinical headshots. You get to 4 rounds, then obviously an eco from the last round, you have 5. This has all come down to, you know, 1 or 2 massive plays from the likes of SK, then resets in terms of the economy for Gambit, as they've been forced so many times so far onto those deducted pistols. And double AWP setup coming out from SK. Usually we see the setup here where one AWP would go towards team main, one AWP would go towards alley, and what you can do is effectively fool your opposition's AWPer. If you're Mo and you see an AWP towards team main, well, you're going to be peeking towards alley, aren't you? You're going to be peeking into the rifles where you have the advantage, and that's where the trap is laid essentially. But this time, these AWPs playing rather passive. Cold Zero holding for the B upper peak, expecting Mo to go for that spawn. Conversely, Fallen's AWP as well towards... I'm unsure, actually. Has the bomb, so he's actually towards Whitehall's as well. Both of these players playing at the exact same position with these AWPs, so there must be a reason behind this. Why are both the AWPs on the same angle? Is there a set strategy they have where maybe one AWP holds towards Green Train, one AWP holds towards Connector, and the 3 rifles rush out towards Sandwich? That could be an effective strat.
Right now setting themselves up as well. Obviously, they do have the smokes to play with, so it appears to be a late round take towards the A site. So Cold and Taco are going to work together as a unit to try and get drop down control, but Adren's there. He counters it, gets the early spam out. He's going to try smoke it as well. Flips around to try and play a bit anti-flash so he doesn't get blinded, and if they do try and go for a cheeky drop down burst, Seized and Adren as well, working together fantastically to find these initial frags. They bypass him, but Cold Zero decides to check it, tries to go for the flick, but he couldn't quite back up his bold claims with the AWP, but he does get more damage dealt as they push their way towards the site. But they've only got 12 seconds remaining. Time is of the essence. They need to make a decision quick, Smart and Cold. He's got the bomb. He turtles his way up, finds the frag somehow. He's gifted the kill on Dosia. He's allowed to get the bomb plant as well, and it's all on Hobbit. It's got to be heroic from him. He gets detected. He knows Cold's have the AWP. Somehow Cold misses that as well. Peeks up slow.
1
Tagged
HP.
on 1 HP, but he's able to stay alive as he's got a Guardian Angel keeping him in the round, but instead, Cold will take him down.
Doja going for the jump peek towards default, opens up any opportunity for Cold Zero into that round. If he just hides there, the time would have expired and Cold Zero would have had no chances of that 1 versus 2. Instead, he isolates both of those duels, finds the first one to Doja. The bomb is planted. He knows exactly where Hobbit was after he goes for the jiggle peek. 6-3, and that's heartbreaking for Gambit. As SK, especially after that play as well, are going to be testing the mental fortitude here for the new addition of Seized and Co. as the CIS team fall to an even further deficit.
Taco and Fallen. The dynamic duo, as per usual, straight away into this round find success as they net the initial 2 frags. Hobbit as well with the time, it might actually get gifted a free one as Bolts was fumbling around, so it does go down. Spams into his cranium there with a CZ, upgrades to a free little AK. Mo as well on the AWP, actually brings it back into a 3v3 here, Snods. 1:25 on the clock as SK, they are going to go for the play towards B. If they take down Taco, maybe this round's still in the hands.
Now I'm playing towards the B side here from Gambit, the risky stack coming in after finding the early frags. Bomb planted towards default. Gambit potentially going to be saving the AWP, saving the AK as well. As heading into round number 11, they're going to need every single advantage they can get. No defuse kit here as well for the CT Salas, as you can see. Doja, Hobbit, Mo going to be trying to salvage and carry on to their weaponry into the next round as best they possibly can, and Taco will give them room for that.
Yeah, ran out of ammunition. Filled up there by Hobbit as he will get the frag. He's able to back off as well as we'll just go through, save all 3 weapons because of this. Gambit going to be pretty good. They will actually be able to bolster that economy a little bit more so on their CT side now. Effective round for him, considering that is the 7th picked up from SK.
Round number 11 then, 7-3. Gambit conceding 7 rounds on the trot now. Are we going to be seeing a pause? Are we going to be seeing some form of recalibration? Because they need to change something fast here, Jack. The aggression from SK towards outside from Taco or Bolt has been so successful. The AWPs as well. They had that round of 1 versus 2 versus Cold Zero. But you give them an inch, and it's going to be taking a mile off you. 3-7 now on Gambit. They have to get the job done soon, otherwise they're going to be conceding far too many rounds here to the terror side of SK.
Dosia playing close on the angle as he just listens out for the audio cues. The smoke there as well to draw them back into the early round. As he gets a little bit more confidence as he trickles his way through. of damage being done from the nades as well, as Cold and Fur are incredibly low, but already 2 frags go the way of Gambit, make that 3 as Taco just brutally eliminates Hobbit there. Mo trying to run around with the ult, but he's caught off guard. He's far too exposed and in the open, so it's an easy kill for Taco. Dosia once again the last man alive towards Connector as he repeats history.
Yeah, but that was when Gambit had the lead there, Jack. And that was also the first round that SK won. It was a 1 versus 2 from coldzera, and we saw it again with the AWP as well. All the clutches, all the individual plays being won by SK. As you can see, the experience paying off here for the Brazilian roster, as when push comes to shove, they're the ones that are delivering. Aggression towards outside, Fur, Bolts, open it up a 5 versus 3, as the A-side defense was diminished instantly, as it leaves Dosia now left to basically pick up the scraps of this round, play for some exit frags, try to stay alive with your AK, you can maybe drop over another weapon as well. Actually, he'll be able to drop over 2 rifles here, Jack, I believe.
He needs to stay alive though, Snods, and he gets detected. Oh, it looks like he might just scrape through by the skin of his teeth.
But they can buy. He's saved, he has $8,500. They can even go for a double op setup if they want to. He can drop over 1 rifle, drop over a second op, so we could be seeing the double op setup if they want to bring it out into this current round. Round number 12, 8-3, a 5-round advantage now for SK going forward. And as a bare minimum, even if they concede the remaining portion of this latter half of the first half, they're still going to have an 8-7 scoreline, Jack, even if everything goes in the way of Gambit. SK onto the single op setup this time. coldzera going to be retiring that one, but Fur again for a 2nd time running reciprocates what he did in the last round, and we see the 1-player advantage again for SK. Gambit can't keep giving away the first frag like this.
It's true. Living by his motto in these rounds with big money, big frags, and big openers, consistently being able to get Gambit on the back foot all the way in the start of each of these rounds. But Mo this time has something to say about it. A bit of resilience coming through. If they do trade it back, they fall into a 4v4. It is going to favour the T's still. Let's try and see how they now continue this round. Hobbit as well, catches falling on the rotate. This is effective, it makes it more manageable. A minute left on the clock. There's SK. What are they going to do with this?
It's so surprising here from Gambit why they're not rotating more towards B. And as I say that, Jack, 2 players are going to make their way in towards the B bomb site. Hobbit pushes in towards T main. He spots a player running in towards Whitehall's, making his entrance towards the B site. And that's why we see 2 players there currently. Taco towards Heather. Bolts towards Ali. coldzera being the man in between both of those players coming in towards Team A, which is going to be signaling the fact that we are seeing a play towards the A side. But Taco has a smoke, Jack, and that's important. He can smoke towards B lower, flash as well, and try and force an over-rotation here from the CT side potentially.
Let's see how that'll work. For Bolts, he's got out from Ivy, but the backstab's there. Hobbit, he's going to be heroic if he gets it. They're going to be very impressed by the fact he's been able to net it and take him down. For Taco as well, a bit of a Goomba stomp as he nearly lands on the head of Steez, and he's confused. He has no idea what exactly is going down, as they're going to bypass each other as well. This round's turned into a bit of a mockery, as with 5 seconds left, if they discover Taco after this, it could be ridiculous, but Cold goes down. Somehow Taco stays alive as well, but the round goes through. Gambit grab it. 4 rounds to 8, Snods, as we get into round number 13 now.
Well, at least they finally put an end to the 8-round winning streak from SK, and Gambit have something to write home about. It's going to be 4 rounds, and obviously they are on their favourite side, the side that they picked as well on their defense. Now, SK, if you win this round and it goes 9-4, you're going to be fully resetting the cash for Gambit. That might be the final nail in the coffin here. And the straw to break Gambit's back. If it goes 9-4 and the reset comes through, what's going to be left here for Gambit?
Oh, this is aggressive as well. The tempo's starting to come out now for Gambit. They want to set the pace. Deep play from Hobbit. You get the smoke out. The HE goes through as well. He's drawn them back.
What on earth is going on towards A right now, Jack? 3 players close towards Team A. A Dren, Mo with the AWP as well. Also backed up by C. So 3 players playing so close towards Sandwich, towards Team A, and then have control towards Pop Dog. SK, nowhere is under their lease. Ali controlled by Gambit. T-Main controlled by Gambit. Pop Dog now controlled as well by Gambit. They're going to have so much information as to where SK are lurking. 2 players so far, but the bomb making its way towards Whitehall's. Most likely going to be seeing a B execution here, Jack, from SK, but Gambit have all the information they need.
Gambit, though, they've been starved out. It was a lot of early game utility usage, Nods, meaning there's no smokes now left in commission, just 1 Molotov.
Yeah, speaking of utility, Jack, that 1 Molotov from Dosia, If it's well timed, it could just be enough to push Gambit over to the 5th round, if it is well timed, but 35 seconds left here. SK make their move.
And here we go, talking about good time, and he's going to lob it out just as the push gets ready. It's so smart, but they get past it. The other members are going to be divided because of it, and Dosia, he's got the damage all on his lonesome, uses the AK as he gets the first headshot. Hobbit as well, bounded about, as you can see, living from the height right now as he wants to try and find these frags, but site control has been taken.
No one's holding towards behind Jack, but now Fallen is. Goes for the transition behind, but misses the easy shot now. Cold Zero towards Heaven. No chance into this one. Adren halts any chance or any dreams into this one. Both on the 1 versus 2. Confusion there, as he would eventually be taken down. 5 now for Gambit. The double play towards the flank, catching both Fallen and Cold Zero off guard as they both whiff. 5-8 now. SK still have 8 rounds. They've still won the half as a bare minimum. But for Gambit, the key to victory here from now on is you need the remainder of your CT half. Otherwise, for SK, all it could be is one pissed around victory in that second half, and it all falls in favor of the Brazilian side.
That's the thing as well. The fact that round could have been so different if we didn't see the fault from Fallen. If he actually did connect the shot with the AWP, it could have changed the tempo. There might still be potential to work with, but instead we fall into this situation. 5-8 now. Gambit starting to get the momentum flowing back in their favor. Let's see if they can continue it now on their CT side, Snods. The first frag goes their way. Fallen might try and do something cheeky, but he's going to be in disarray as Hobbit immediately blows him to bits.
Dosia. Oh, actually, that was towards Heaven there. So Taco walks out Heaven, catches Dosia from the side, and the Molotov comes out towards Connector, but does he... Oh, I don't think he understands. He doesn't. Mo already rotates out when the Molotov was planted. And now 4 versus 2, SK. Scrambling to find out what they have left as they pick up the bomb towards T-spawn.
Seems like they might not have anything left into this round, Snods, but maybe that might be the opener they needed. Cold with the initial frag. Tries to fake it out as well as he backs off and waits for his teammate. Bolt's going to be coming through. It is a deadly duo that is left alive, but they're really going to need to paint the town red to pick this one up as the rotate comes round. Adren waiting with the AK in his hands. He needs to just go crazy with a rifle here and connect those shots. The utility they have is going to be heavy, but they don't have the manpower now. It all comes down to Bolts. He can be swift like lightning, but will even be given the opportunity. Sprays his way through, tags up Hobbit, HE as well to try and finish him out and take him out of the server, but it doesn't work. Smoke goes down to block off the vision for the CTs, but Mo, you can see he's eager to peek, catches him on the cross, denies the bomb plant. Another round for Gambit as they link them together.
6-8 then. SK Gaming. Their cash is starting to wither away now as well. How much money are they going to have to work with Jack coming into the final round, and the buy isn't really the prettiest. CZ for Fur, Scout for Fallen. 3 AKs as well, so they can still work with that. It's going to be interesting to see what SK call for this. Do you go for the individual plays towards towards Blue Train, towards Sandwich? You send Fur out to try to get the first frag with the player with the best spawn, and it seems like the latter one of those options is going to be what's called 2 players towards Popdog, and they rush out.
Sprinting their way through, all-out aggression as they bound in, and SK are back on top in terms of damage there as they assassinate anyone that was in a good defensive position. They want this final round of the half. Cold Zero takes down Hobbit, and it's just left on Dosia. This is going to need to be incredible for him if he somehow wants to clutch it out. Finds the initial frag, Molotov there, but they also have one of their own to try and keep him at bay, and that's a free headshot for Fur. 6-9 is the scoreline as SK take the lead.
7 rounds now for SK to send Gambit home, and conversely, 10 required now on the T-side from Gambit to deny the dream of the Intel Grand Slam away from SK for now, but we'll find out shortly as we head to a short break.
5 men you see on your screen, they've been causing a bit of a commotion. They've been having a bit of a stir snods, and things have been looking good for them. Obviously, 6 rounds in the bank on their CT half. SK, they've been leading the charge as they have 9 to play with. But can SK close it down here, or will this be a reverse sweep coming through from Gambit?
Oh, could you imagine the commotion if we saw that happen from Gambit? Obviously, SK having the 14-4 advantage, an overpass, a 10-round lead, 2 rounds from having the swift, clean 2-0. But instead, it all falls on this second half here, Jack, on this final map of this best of 3. Could we see overtime? Potentially, obviously, Gambit, they were great at coming back on overpass when everything was to lose, essentially, because if they lose this matchup, Jack, it's unforgiving. They go home.
Well, let's see what they can do into this round, if they can net themselves another pistol as they bound their way in towards B. Taco, he's playing it smart, he's playing it stealthy as he wants to be a silent assassin that eliminates his first target. The response is there from Dosia, though, as he wants to derail any potential shenanigans. Hobbit as well, with 1, as he annihilates Fur, but there's the response. Fallen coming through. Fallen grabs 2 in rapid succession as well, as he snipes down with a USP. Mo from the sideline, it's all on Fallen, as he's doing it just off the back of his own USP.
Here for the CT side as well. Fallen lacking the Kevlar, but not lacking the aim, it seems. Adren into the 1 versus 3. No Kevlar as well for the so the next frag is so crucial as they make their way onto the site. He is towards Grey Train. Gonna go for the wide face bolts. Not expecting it. Finds the first frag, but the bomb diffuses off.
Oh, he's brought them off the bomb. They do have a kit, though. Fallen going to jump back on it. If that could have been a few more seconds of difference, maybe that round could have been a different story.
Potentially, but that was a good pistol round from Gambit. Nevertheless, even though they lost it, the strategy was still there. It seems like this new pistol round on the T side of Train is so popular with these teams here at this event. Must have been something that was found very successful in practice as well. It's where you run down lower with 1 flashbang, so you blind the anchor towards B. You then Molotov towards connector, and while the Molotov is down, it denies the rotations from SK, which means you then get really close towards connector with those Glocks. You have the close range duels with those T-sided pistols, and therefore SK come out from connector, they come out from backlines from CT side, and they're up close and personal versus those Glocks on the T side. So it's actually favoured for the Gambit side there, but even then, Fallen lands those shots up close and personal, and grants them their 10th round. Pistols go 1 for 1 here, Jack, so there's no lifeline dished out here for Gambit. They have to fight back tooth and nail.
Well, he's going to attempt to seize the day now into this round. He grabs himself an AK and armor as well, so he can pass that back to his teammates if he does go down. But he's going to be quite critical, obviously, if he can actually find some leeway with it and cause a commotion with a weapon. That's when things could start to fall back in their favor. But the buy is so much stronger for SK. For Cold as well, he just wants to try and rack up some cash and get some Wonga in his back pockets if they do go for this push towards Ivy. Fallen comes into support. They're going to peek. There's the first frags coming through. Everyone starts to go down. Dosia and Hobbit have been removed in seconds by the MP9s. Seized. Slowly pushing up, tags up Fallen, but he's going to be fragged himself. Cold gets the final one as well as Adren goes down. That's 11 rounds now for SK.
Speaking of Adren, did invest into an AK into that round. Obviously, the CIS team's known for that Na'Vi 1.6-esque buy, where one player from the pistol round, if he found frags, had $2,700 or more, could drop over that 1 AK. They play a contact style. Obviously, for Adren, his teammates were all dead before he could even have any chance of finding an impact into that round, so the pause will come through.
Somber faces there as well, over on the Gambit side as they decide what they want to do.
Yeah, it's awkward really, isn't it, Jack? You're 6-11 down, so you're in a 5-round deficit. One of your players can't buy, but actually 2 of your players can't buy. Seized on 3,500, Adren on 2,000. And even if you do buy, you're going to be having 3 players with AK, 1 smoke, 1 flash at best. So the buy is going to be severely weaker here for the T side. But then again, conversely, SK, we know how heavy they invest into these SMGs, especially on their CT side counterforce. MP9s onto 3 of those players, Cold Zero, Taco, and Fur. Orb onto Fallen. Bolt's going to be warded the FAMAS as well, not even the M4, so no M4s for the CT side. That might be enough room here for Gambit to come back into it.
Fallen just gets obliterated, though, as they decimate him on the early entry. Dosia finds success with his AK. That could just be enough to actually get them some potential into the round. They've got the momentum. They can plant the bomb now. Adren as well, a very aggressive stance as he pushes up, just barely looking for the gap in the smoke, waiting for them to try and defy and push against him. As SK, it's slow and steady. It's looking quite timid here on the retake. They do have a lot to work with. They got the SMGs as well. Mo close by Oil Train, spots out Taco. Is able to get the best of him, even though it looked like it was going to be a an awkward firefight. Gold as well, not really the best weapon for range as he tries to take these kills. Flicks down, but Mo flicks up, and he'll actually have the upper hand.
5 versus 2 then for SK. Still going to be playing for the exit frags. They have cash to work with, obviously having very effective anti-ecos. As a ding though to the second play, but only will find 1. 4 players survive enough for Gambit as it will go 7 to 11. Lost the last player alive with the M4, but look at his cash, $3,200. So he can drop over an M4. coldzera can buy, Taco can buy, Fur can buy an AWP as well for Fallen. And there you have it. Glass, Cannon, AWP. Oh no, he actually has enough here for Kevlar, so bolts. Saving that FAMAS is pivotal here for SK's buy. As it's going to be one that's great. 5 sets of Kevlar, 2 defuse kits, Molotovs, smokes to work with. The utility's fairly decent here for SK. Mo with a great spawn coming in towards team main, goes for the peek towards Connector, flashed off the angle. Oh, and he takes that jewel again. Unbeknownst to him, Fallen had the angle.
Yeah, Fallen quite important in the prior round, but he isn't going to make the same mistake twice. Bolts as well, gets the kill with the FAMAS on towards Dren, leaving only a trio of terrorists on the side of Gambit. Not the best position to be in. In terms of the play though, Dosia has actually slipped in towards B. He hasn't been detected either, I don't believe, as he can slowly tiptoe through. No one can hear his footsteps. He's keeping it smart. He's keeping it quiet. Fur's going to bound past him as well, so he gets the initial headshot. Molotov out to try cut off the rotate and force him back. But does he know the location of Taco? That is going to be one of the key decisions here as his teammates start to come over to aid him. Dosia, he's clearing these angles, peeks out, gets the headshot on Taco, even though he's dinked down. Somehow he stays alive.
So well played from Dosia. Gets full control towards the B-bomb site now for Gambit. And from a 5 versus 3 round where Gambit were pretty much all out of it, Dosia maybe could be bringing them back into it. 7 to 11 here in terms of rounds. This one is pivotal. This game's on a knife edge.
Fallen. He needs to have a famous play with a FAMAS as he gets the first. Dump snake down as well, but Dosia has the angle covered, but it doesn't matter. Fallen, he's removing them one by one, systematically tearing them apart. Seized as the only man that could attempt to defy this as they attempt to force the face. Cold as well, holds the angle and finds the frag. The defuse comes through. It looked like it was a close round, but it falls back to the camp of SK.
Yeah, I mean, Dosia there, lurks out towards lower ramp, finds the first frag onto the B lurk, well, the B anchor player. Does so well with his utility there, Jack. Smokes towards Molotov towards connector, denies the rotation early on. Smokes between the red train and golden train, then comes towards oil, finds a second kill. And at least gives Gambit some sort of optimism into round number 19, but nevertheless enough of the past and into the present here. Round number 20. Pause coming out from Gambit, and it will be the third one, so only one more to utilize later on into this final match of this best of 3. As of course, Jack, as we know, the final map of this series and the loser will be going home. Double orb set up here from coldzera and Fallen. So the decision to save from Gambit, which means they might be giving up a 13-7 scoreline to SK. And look at the money as well for the Brazilians, right? The money isn't stellar, it's not abundant, it's not something to write home about. This is the issue here for Gambit. Do you force and try and break their economy and then, you know, get back into it? 8 to 12, force a weak force buy from SK, 9 to 12, then an eco, 10 to 12 could be the scoreline if they win all 3. But it's such a big risk to take because if you lose that round, Jack, it's pretty much as good as done.
That's the thing. The risk-reward right now just isn't worth it. It's Gambit. They're not going to roll the dice. Instead, they'll try and keep their cards close to their chest as they go for the play into this one. Small investment as they've got 2 players with armor. You've got a flashbang and a smoke, which will telegraph it will be that play towards B anyhow. The damage actually coming through as they spam in. Dosia tags up Taco, lights him up like a Christmas tree to start off this one.
Only 3 sets. Oh, actually, no, it's the bomb, Jack. Only 2 sets of Kevlar here from Gambit. So in terms of, you know, a high chance of getting the upset, it's going to be fairly abysmal. Got the Deagles at least, so maybe Dosia can have an impact into this one. But as the time ticks away, the chance of SK winning this round grows greatly. As Gambit have their options slowly diminishing around themselves, they're going to be grouping up towards A main. C is going to be coming from Pop Dog as well, but look how far back SK are. They understand the poor buy coming from Gambit, and they have the maximum amount of range between themselves and those upgraded pistols that we know in Counter-Strike are so strong currently.
Yeah, absolutely miles away. But you can see the positions potentially being countered here. If they go for this Ivy burst, Cold needs to be the one to cut them down swiftly. As right now they're just lying in wait, sitting pretty behind the smoke and waiting for this burst play as they'll set themselves up, get ready to rock and roll. Let's just see if they're is going to be as big as their bar, because they push round. Coldzera misses the initial frag. They do actually bypass him and slip out towards the site, but Fallen is there on the scene of the crime, and he's going to be adding some more bodies down to the ground as he peeks back through as well. The USP frag comes out. They do trickle down, so SK just being tagged, but none of them going to be fragged.
Yeah, and that's crucial for their money as well, Jack. Only one player having $2,000 in the last round, and that was Coldzera. Apart from that, if SK had lost that round, the money would have been broken. And now, from the eco from Gambit, it concedes $3,000 across the board now for SK aggregately, so they have money to buy if Gambit do win this round. So, Gambit are going to have to chain 2 or more rounds together if they want to be forcing out some ecos from SK and gaining some bonus rounds to make their journey back to, you know, a 13-13 scoreline ever easier. Fast play towards Pop.
Straight down and straight out as Fur finds the first, but Seized will be able to trade it back in favor of Gambit. Although that was only very short-lived. Bolts strikes against the Dren, finds the kill with the M4, recedes to a more easy-to-defend angle as well, as in the meantime Fallen has been able to flick that shot to Dosia. So it's just Seized and Mo remaining, Snods, and they're not in the best angles. This should be the 14th round claimed from SK, ideally, if it continues in this fashion. Still 1 minute and 15 on the clock. And all they have to work with is their individual skill.
Yeah, and what's left of their health as well. Seized, 13 points of health. One bullet from these M4s or even USPs at this point going to be taking him down to the grave. Mo, a Galil, no AWP as well to have the maximum amount of impact he can have. A minute left to work with, and so far this train map has been so dire for Gambit as it seems like it's getting even worse.
50 seconds left. Now Sparks the initiative. They need to try and go for the play. Mo, he's being hunted. They get behind him. They realize his location. They lob a nade straight towards him as well. Bounces off his chest and then dunks him out of the server as it's all unseized. 35 seconds. The bomb's down in no man's land and he's trying to run the risk as he goes for the play. There's just nothing really working. He might kill himself with a nade. Luckily, gets away, or it could have been assisted suicide.
Yeah, not sure if that's illegal in Russia, but thankfully we don't have to find out here. 19 seconds left, the bomb in no man's land here. In the open towards Electric, has to cross the paths and the gaze of Fallen, and actually won't have a lifeline here. They'll survive the first, second shot as well, but from behind, the tag team duo, of course, of the Brazilian team, and Scene itself, Fallen and Coldzera are there to deliver. 14-7. Gambit still have one more pause if they want to try and break the momentum from SK and extend the time as this game is just slipping away out of their hands, and they might be getting ready to pack their gear up and go home.
Seems like it, as for right now, SK have just taken the lead and really looked effective.
Yeah, it will be the final pause as well for Gambit. That's why we're going to be having a prolonged segment on their faces. But what do you do in this scenario? Let's see, on the Observer PC, let me take a look at the money. It's not looking good here, Jack. They're going to go for the Force buy, but 1 AK, Tech 9 for Dosia, 3 CZs. They have decent utility, so they know SK are running a double AWP setup, and they know as well that SK versus the Pistols play far back. They play towards default, towards stop sign, towards the old bomb, and towards green train. So you can do a wall of smokes. Get the bomb down, try get into good after plant positions towards Sandwich, towards Electric, get in towards Pop Dog, have your AK player in a position where he can frag out, essentially, in an after plant scenario if the bomb is planted. As it seems like they may be doing that, actually, Jack.
Setting up. Go for the classic A take. Obviously, use the smokes, completely block off the line of sight, leave SK starved for information, and second-guessing what the true play will be.
Funny as well, obviously. Before, Fallen was alone towards the B side of the map there with the AWP, and he missed that shot, and he conceded the 7th round for Gambit. This time, it's going to be a rifle spotting towards lower B. Has the backup of Fur as well. So only 3 players towards the A site here from SK. And what are Gambit waiting for? Well, seems like they're going to pull the trigger. The execution comes towards the A site as they bound out from Pop Dog, but they're going towards Whitehall's, Jack. It's all a ruse.
Yep, they've lampooned them. They've forced them to believe it was the true player, when in reality, they're hitting them hard and fast towards B. Taco's there, to set it in flames and ignite it, so they can't push straight down. It slows them down just enough to give SK the edge, especially when Fallen lands a shot like that. Taco coming back through with a headshot, bludgeons Dosia, and it just falls on a Dren and Mo. All of a sudden, it's just a Dren left as Mo's body's now now lifeless on the ground. Adren will pop his way through, hoping to just bound in and achieve something with the CZ at the very least. Gets a consolation frag, but SK have now got 15 rounds on the board. They've secured themselves a safety net. It looks like their Grand Slam run isn't going to be over at this tournament just yet.
The sad thing is here, obviously the dramatic irony, because we have that bird's eye vision. We can see the map, we can see the X-ray as well. If Gambit committed towards the A side, Jack, they would have actually got the bomb down. And obviously, the bomb being down, you've got an AK on Seized. Maybe the Seized is up close towards default, maybe lurking in the smokes, playing towards Sandwich and whatnot. That could have maybe been an upset round for Gambit, but instead, they go for the audacious fake. They try and sell a ruse towards the outside site. But SK, they don't budge. Taco drops the Molotov, buys enough time for the rotations to come in towards Connector and towards the backlines and CT spawn. And SK now find themselves on match point.
Oh, straight down. Hobbit actually does overpower further. He gets through him with a CZ as he starts to tear him into tiny little pieces, but the response is very fast and furious from Fallen as well as he's landing these kills, sniping down anyone that dares to go up against him, straight ripping his way through them. Fallen, he wants to end it in style as he shows off, leading by example with the AWP in his hands. Dosia, though, digs back for just one final frag, a last-ditch attempt, but that is it. They're down and out. SK Gaming take the series 2-0 as Gambit get closed out.
2-1, mate.
The response there on Overpass.
I think a lot of us there cancelled out the thought of Overpass being lost by SK, so I don't blame me for that one. But yeah, a 2-1 train going in favour of SK, 16-7, and it seems like all the steam was used from Gambit to come back into that 10-round deficit when they were 14-4 down, and it seems like they had nothing left in the tank to try and fight on train as they put all their heart and soul on Overpass.
Yeah, obviously it was an incredible game, really going above and beyond as it went to overtime. Towards the end, it was just Mo that was causing the upsets, being able to find that final clutch, brought them through off the back of a 3K with him on his back. He gets to train. It looked like maybe there was potential. It was a good start. They get pistol, but then it was downhill. I mean, it was just back-to-back. SK just went on the trot until the last 3 rounds of the half were claimed by Gambit, but before that, it was the SK show.
It was. I believe it was a 8-3 scoreline. Obviously, pistol won by Gambit. C's going huge with the USP. 3-0 start. Then SK won 7 rounds on the trot on their T side. The aggression from Fur, the aggression from Bolts in that one crucial round, and also Taco as well at his own rounds where he was the star. And basically, they had so much aggressive peaks, and all the duels went in favor of SK. So even though it was 8 rounds won, it was more like 4 buy rounds. And each of those buy rounds, it was one different player that basically played phenomenal, and obviously then the ecos came out, so it's like you got 4 buy-round victories, 4 quasi-buys and ecos from Gambit, and that's why we saw the 8-round hot streak from SK. And then obviously, as you said, resurgence in the latter portions of the first half, then a 9-6, but even then, second half pistol went in favour of SK, and ever since then, SK just stole it.
Yeah, SK just being able to shut it down towards the end, obviously finding success. They do take the win overall. Keep themselves alive in the lower bracket, but they're not out of the slog just yet. Obviously, still going to have to continue on. They've got another best of 3.
One more best of 3. And obviously, tomorrow is the final day on the group stage, Jack. The final day, we're in Poland as well. And obviously, I mean, one more best of 3 for SK. And that really does set it all up, essentially. Can they make it into the Spodek? Most likely. Quite a shame in terms of how unforgiving these groups have been, right? Adding in the additional 16 teams, you might be thinking, okay, maybe the group's going to be less stacked, right? But the resurgence of Liquid now being so strong with the additional Nafly, Heroic have the upset versus VP, VP sent home already after just 2 games being played. And yeah, this has been one competitive IEM.
Yeah, it's true. Everyone has been pulling out all the stops, obviously trying to deal them damage and lock it down because you have to. There's no room for error. And I believe we can actually have a look at that as well and just give you guys an overview of how these things have gone down as we do get into these brackets here. As this is the Group A bracket.
Yeah, and obviously the games that happened today, trying to cast our minds back to that one. The Cloud9, Renegades, obviously Renegades going home. Oh, the SK versus Cloud9 matchup to see who makes it to the Spodek. That's one matchup I don't want to be missing.
No. Your major winners, your current reigning champions that found success going up against SK Gaming there to see who is going to be going through to the Spodek. That is fierce.
Yeah, and also, I mean, getting that semi-final spot. Astralis versus Liquid. Obviously, Astralis have the 2-0 versus SK Gaming. Obviously, the controversial there with the PCs and whatnot, but obviously, it was still a 2-0. Remember that, so they won the first map as well. Beating out Renegades 16-13 on Train. And now versus Liquid, winner of that one goes straight into the not the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, top 4.
Yeah, this is it's going to be interesting for these teams. We also have the Group B bracket as well, so we can have a look how things shaped up on that side of things and get a rough idea how things are going to start to develop now towards the Spodek.
Ooh, FaZe Clan versus Fnatic. This one definitely not to miss as well. Obviously, Olaf Mice having a rematch versus former team. And FaZe, the 2-0 early on versus North. Very one-sided as well, if you remember that matchup. G2 Esports Fnatic, that matchup was going on while we were casting. Didn't even see that one. 2-1 for Fnatic. So G2, usually so prolific in those best-of-ones, so strong in those group stage matches, fall short. Oh, G2 NIP. And North Heroic as well. We've got some great games tomorrow.
Yeah, the lower bracket there looking absolutely teeming with talent. That is not going to be an easy run for any one of those teams. That's up for grabs.
Yeah, and obviously the first matchup tomorrow for the B stream, Heroic versus North, the Danish derby, a matchup we saw in Pro League, but obviously that was as soon as the addition came in from both those teams, Rabino, KRB, Mertz and whatnot. Now they've had a few weeks to instill their playstyle, find out what works for them. Another great matchup to see tomorrow.
Yeah, and that will be obviously the first matchup over here on the B stream, I believe, so it should be a juicy one for you guys at home. A Danish derby, always lovely to witness, but that is everything for the day done and dusted. As all the numbers have been crunched, everyone's been closed out. Gambit is going to be sent going home. SK will keep themselves alive for potentially another day. But they'll still have to best out Cloud9 to guarantee themselves a spot at the Spodek, but that is all to come tomorrow. We will see who exactly is going to be reaching the Spodek, who will be there to feed off the hype from the Polish home crowd as we close out another day at IEM Katowice. So we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, for some more Counter-Strike action.